Cohort 3. James Pitney here. Going to be bringing you the information from Chapter 3 of the Bryson text, which is initiating and agreeing on a strategic planning process. Really what we're going to be doing is taking a look at step 1 of the strategy change cycle, but I don't want to do it in such a formal way. I wanted to kind of connect with all of you all by way of introduction to the material in such a way that we could all wade into the pool of strategic planning. We're going to have plenty of time in the next few weeks to go through the Bryson text and the workbook and the many strategic plans that are posted on Moodle for us. So I thought I'd do something that would be a little bit fun and a little bit relatable to everybody at this point. And with that, I think we should take these steps and plan a vacation. We've all worked really hard the past couple semesters. We've all had many sleepless nights, much time away from family, much time away from self. And this would be the perfect thing to start doing now so that when this class is over, we can actually take a vacation. So when we're looking at step 1 of the strategy change cycle, what we're really doing is looking at an agreement and the process of agreement. But it's not general in the sense that it's nebulous or ill-defined. It's rather specific and deliberate in its design. And it covers several different issues from the Bryson text. And we're going to look at those. But remember, it's all from the perspective of planning a vacation. The first, of course, is the purpose of the effort. The effort being the vacation and the purpose of it. Now, I know I've heard several of you say that you need a break, we need a vacation, can't wait for vacation. So if you need that, you have to ask yourself, well, what am I doing this for? And the answer is pretty obvious. You need to recharge. You need to reconnect with family, with friends, with your spouse, with your kids. Some of you may believe, as I've heard, hey, I just want to get away by myself. I just need some time away from the books, time away from everybody. I need to recharge my own batteries. And that's absolutely fine as well. The next thing you want to consider is a statement of desired outcomes to be achieved. I don't know how many of you actually write this out, but it's not a bad idea. It helps keep you focused, and it helps give you the reasons of what you need to do in order to have the effort of the vacation and its purpose be achieved. Of course, recreation and rest and family connection time. If that's the case, you might want to just pack up everybody then and head on out for vacation. The whole car, the wife, the kids, the dog, maybe not the cat. Now, the third thing you need to think about are the preferred steps in the process and the way ongoing feedback and learning will be accomplished. So you've already established that you need to go on vacation, and maybe you even have an idea of where you want to go and why you want to go into that particular place. But as the time rolls on, weeks, maybe even months, hopefully months, the more time you have to plan, the better your vacation could actually turn out. You can start to ask yourself, do I want to go to this location? Do I want to go to that location? What do I want to do while I'm there? And as you're thinking of these things, you're actually having a feedback system within yourself or in discussions with your family, or if you're going to have friends come along, another family maybe, then there needs to be meetings, and that of course could be over texts and calls. But as you're learning that, you're going to keep having feedback with each other about why you're going, where you're going, what you want to do. Because remember, you're taking the time to plan this effort. It's going to be expensive and it's going to take time. It has to be worth it. The form and timing of reports. Now, for a family vacation, even if you're going with another family, there's not going to be any formal reports. Organizationally, you're going to have reports due and people are going to want to see how things are going. But informally, with planning a vacation, you're not going to have that. However, the concept still remains the same, that it goes along with this feedback is you can, of course, use all kinds of social media to pass along ideas, pass along different pictures of places you want to go, activities you want to do, whatever it may be. So these are the kind of reports you might pass to each other while you're planning and while you're working toward finalization of a plan for some vacation. The role, functions, and membership of any group or committee empowered to oversee the effort. Now, formally, of course, you call this the Strategic Planning Coordinating Committee, but in the case of a family vacation, even if you're including another family along with you, you're not going to be this formal about it. However, you still need to designate somebody to be in charge of managing it, thinking about it, and overseeing the effort of the planning of the vacation. The second thing would be the role, functions, and membership of the strategic planning team. Now, the strategic planning team is everybody involved in the vacation, of course. Everybody's taking this vacation for a reason. Everybody should have input, and it should be mutually agreed upon for the purpose of the effort that you previously established. In the case of a vacation, you definitely want to have input from the kids, the spouse, the kids of the other family, everybody involved. They are going to be able to give you ideas, give you specific things that for them will make the effort worthwhile. A general sense of how stakeholders will be engaged over the course of the process. So in this vacation planning sense, everyone is really a stakeholder, and everybody needs to be engaged with it. In particular, I like to make sure that I give my kids a list of things to look up, whether it's about the location of where we're going, different activities they want to do, different sites they want to see, or even along the route where we might stop and pick up some of those different sites that we wouldn't otherwise see. A general sense of how the web will be used to help the process along. Vacation planning is pretty easy nowadays. We have the internet. With the internet, you can search for good plane tickets, rental car prices, hotel rooms, different eating establishments in the area, and of course, TripAdvisor is always good to tell you which of these things, while the price may seem good, is actually worth your time staying there. These next couple steps I paired together for a reason, which we'll see. The first of which is the likely requirements of success. Now you have to go back to the purpose of the effort that you did at the very first step of this particular step 1, and you have to ask yourself, what's the purpose of the effort? And then when you get here and you say, what's the likely requirements of success? It's pretty clear that you can answer. I've been busy. I haven't seen my wife or my husband. Haven't seen my kids. Maybe you're bringing your friends along. You haven't got to see them. So the requirements of success are connection and getting back together and just being together and establishing that bond again. Important limitations or boundaries on the effort. Now these go hand in hand for a reason, because if you're going to be successful in the effort for whatever purpose you previously determined, then you're going to have to understand what are the limitations and boundaries on this in order to enable success. Well, I can tell you that for my particular family, whenever we go on a vacation or any kind of activity really, where we're spending time together, and the purpose is to be together, to regain closeness and bond. Limitation of the electronics is key, including for myself. My kids will tell you, Dad, you're always on your email, you're always on your smartphone. And I do watch, or at least I used to, quite a bit of TV. So they'll tell me, and I say, you're right, and we're here to connect. We're here to have this vacation time together, reestablish our family bonds, grow closer to one another, kind of get to know each other. And especially for us, the past 2 semesters have been so busy. So you might want to say, listen, when we're traveling on the road or when we're in the airports in between flights, of course, use your cell phones. Maybe if your job depends on you checking particular emails quite a bit, maybe you have to say, listen, I'm only going to check emails for 30 minutes at a day, and I'm not going to touch it anymore after that. Another big one for me is when you go somewhere on vacation, it's the worst thing to lay around or to watch your kids lay around watching the tube. I mean, you could have done that back at home. So for us, a lot of it is really just saying, listen, no smartphones, no electronics. For me, no email. Nobody lays around the hotel room watching TV. We took the time, spent the money. We came all this way to do this. We're going to hang out together, and we're going to go out and see activities and do things together, different sites, and just reconnect that way. And finally, we come to commitment of resources necessary for the effort. Vacations nowadays, especially with plane tickets, they're expensive. And the more people you take, the more money that's going to take. So again, as far ahead in advance as possible for planning, it's pretty key. You have to make sure you save up, and as you're finalizing where you're going, what you're doing, that may depend on the resources you've set aside to accomplish that. Once it's all done though, once you've figured out your location, specific activities, the hotel you're staying at, how you're getting there, which route you're taking. It all comes down perfectly planned vacation, reconnection time, rest, relaxation, family bonding, and that's what you do. Now, for the rest of the time we have until our class on Tuesday, I'm going to ask several things of you. And of course, the first is Radar Assigned Chapter 3, begins on page 83. Go ahead and review the different workbook pages that are in Step 1, which begin on page 55. And then whenever you've chosen the strategic plan you're going to be using for you and your team, review that strategic plan and see where the different processes we've talked about throughout here can apply or are given in your strategic plan. And if they're not, you might just want to think about those types of things. Of course, the rest of the time you should just enjoy the weekend, relax, spend time with your family, read your book, enjoy a margarita. With all the rain we've had, it'll be good just to sit back. And with that, I will see you on Tuesday.